Okay. All right. Thank you very much to Dave Simpson. And do we have Gina Doyle still here?
Yes.
Oh, please come forward. Thank you.
I don't really have a lot of questions. I kind of inherited a group called Don't Dump on Us from my sister because she started it. Her health has since kind of deteriorated, her and her husband. So she asked me to take it over. Well, she kind of pointed me. So 4 years ago, when we started this, I had a post on our site, and I asked people who could tell me who in their family had cancer, what proximity to the plant they lived, how many, whatever. I was sitting on my computer that night and I started watching, and I could see the tears started rolling down my face because people just kept typing and kept typing. And the stories they were telling me was just heartbreaking. So that got me involved in this because I couldn't turn my head. So I talked to Matt Brewster, and he said he wanted the list because Brad Winstrup was at the health department, had a meeting down there, and he wanted that list from me. So I typed it all up, take it down to Matt, and he takes it to, or gives it to, I suppose, Mr. Winstrup. Never heard a word back about it. Since then, that was 4 years ago, there was hundreds of names on this list, families that we all know. Since then, you can imagine how many more have died. I know several that have died since then. My cousin lost half her lung to cancer. During the time that she was fighting cancer, her husband starts having symptoms, and he just had his bladder and prostate removed. It just goes on and on. I feel like that the DOE feels like they put the plant there because we are Appalachia people. We are what they thought were dumb, that they could put this plant in there and just do what they wanted. And now they're wiping us out slowly but surely. And we can't grow. I wanted to plant a garden for the last few years, but I'm scared to death. I don't want to grow anything. My grandkids, I watch every day. I have 13 of them from here to Georgia. I wouldn't feed them a thing out of the ground in my backyard now. My sister and her husband live right next door to the plant. They live on Dutch Run. She's the one that started this. They told her years ago, don't drink the water. Don't let your kids play in the creek. It goes on and on. I know I'm tired of it. I'm scared to death for my grandkids. So I know that everybody else that lives around here who's paying attention is scared too. And that's really all I have to say. I don't have any questions because my questions were all answered. It's scary. It's devastating. It's what it's doing, what you've told us our future is. It's not good. I don't think we have a future here. I think that they want to just keep on adding on till there is nothing left. They'll have to either buy people out or watch them up and leave. And this will be nothing. Nothing for our grandkids, nothing for their grandkids. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you to Gina Doyle. And yes, we need to tell the Department of Energy that we need clean jobs. We need safe jobs. There's plenty of solar and wind are ready to go right now. Where are they? Why not where are the cities with the solar on the roofs and so forth? There's a rooftop unless you have a tree, there's room for a rooftop, especially in the city. So rooftop solar is what we want. Okay. Is Brenda Powell still here? Okay. Sheila Hammond? Jordan Hammond. I think they were together and they left. Okay. So I think we can, is there anyone else here besides, well, we know that, that Jeff Walburn and Chick Lawson are still going to speak. They can speak as long as they want to. Is there anybody else that would want to speak first?
I just have 30
Come-
seconds.
Come forward, Lori Swain, please.
Hi, we live in Portsmouth. SODI, Southern Ohio Diversification Initiative, was put together at the time that the gaseous diffusion plant shut down. And their mission, they were charged with diversifying the industry in our area. They have never diversified. Diversify means something different. And there are lots and lots of different possibilities. But the only thing SODI ever comes up with, and they're in lockstep with the DOE and the nuclear industry, the only thing they keep coming up with is the same old thing.
Okay, I'll invite, is Chicks? Oh, Vina. Okay, come forward. Vina Colley.
For those of you who don't know, PRESS, Portsmouth Piketon Residents for Environmental Safety and Security, and National Nuclear Workers for Justice was formed from PRESS. We've been working on this site a decade. I started in 1983 when I wrote my first grievance to the company, telling them that these workers were being exposed to radiation. This went to the Department of Labor. On our jobs, I was an electrician, and on our jobs, we were taking trichloroethylene, cleaning down uranium-contaminated cells without our knowledge. When we got done with this trichloroethylene, we dumped it in the sewer. So when I got sick and they started kind of like harassing me, I told them that they were dumping this down the drains. So they eventually finally dropped it and told us not to be using the trichloroethylene anymore. PRESS, Velma Shears, and I worked on this cancer study in 1955 until the 80s, and a heart chart. And if you look, you can see after the plant started production, it started raising up here. And one reason it didn't show cancer for Pike County or the surrounding counties, because when you got cancer, you weren't added to this county because you went 100 miles to Columbus, to Cincinnati, and that's where your cancer got counted. So we lobbied for them to give us the zip codes or the area codes that we were living in. And so once they done that, it kicked it back. No matter where you went, it kicked you back to this county. And when they did that, the cancer rate started rocketing. PRESS started, I think, probably in 1987 when there was a lawsuit filed. That lawsuit took 21 years to solve. And so PRESS has been at this. We've taken soil samples, water samples. We had documents that no one else could even find. We've been in basements. We've been in workers, the union hall. I was going to the union hall. They were allowing me to make documents for nothing for the community. And then finally, some of the workers would say, well, she's working more for the community than she is for the workers. So I eventually got kicked out of the union hall to make free copies. In 1999, PRESS has broken a lot of stories here at the plant. And the one that we broke in 1999 with Mary Bird Davis was we had plutonium at Piketon. So when it came down, Piketon, they admitted that they had one cylinder fed into this plant. And that's how we got to plutonium. That's not true. We've been recycling what I call reactor fuel since 1955. And the transuranic started showing up since 1955. So we confront them and they've admitted it. DeWine and them was at all these hearings. I've been in all their offices. I've even been in Senator Glenn's office, and I took a stack of papers this high, and I said, here, take these. This is Pike County, and this will tell you where all the contamination is and what's going on in our county. The guy in Glenn's office said, take them with you. I said, no. Now you know what I know, and you're just as guilty as the DOE if you don't do something about it. And they did nothing about it. They don't care. I think we're going to have to go after these contractors out here, like the workers did, in order to get them to pay attention to this community. I joined probably 45 national nuclear groups trying to get the Piketon on the map. Piketon wasn't even on the map. We were a Superfund site. We doubled the Superfund site, but never was put on it because Celeste signed a consent agreement, and so they hurried up in here and they're trying to clean this plant up and not telling anybody. It is one of the worst facilities in the world, one of the largest facilities in the world, and it has 2 buildings in here that are larger than any buildings of all these other sites. So I want to say I have some people I want to appreciate their hard work, Jeff and Chick, Dwayne Pullman, Dr. Ketter, Steve's done a lot of videoing, and I'll probably miss some of you. Terry Lodge, I'm working with him with the high assay low enriched uranium. They want to do the same thing they did when they were in the GSEP project, except now it's going to go into a new building, and it's called the centrifuge. And they want, from my understanding, because I talked to all these groups, they want to clean all these other sites up. And I think they want to send their plutonium and the transuranics here again for us to recycle. That's my opinion on it. It was my opinion that we've been recycling since 1955, and that opinion, everyone can see what happened. But there's a lot of stories I could tell, but I know a lot of people want to talk. But we've been here a long time. We're not going to go away. Gina and them, they all worked in our group for a long time too. But we had 4 or 5 board members that died of cancer. We had members who've been harassed, threatened to take away their Social Security, take away this or that, if you got involved with the community groups. And as long as they don't admit that they have a problem, even though it's in their document, you've not heard any of them. Matter of fact, one of them was on Dwayne Pullman's video saying, it was White, Mr. White. He didn't know anything about plutonium being here. And they do, because the X705 had an experimental project going on that contaminated those workers so bad that they had to be taken and shipped down to Oak Ridge to try to get their contamination down. I have those guys' names and I have their readings. And then people come to me and talk to me about their cancer, and my daughter said, Mom, everything you're doing is depressing. But I said, I can't stop. If you saw these little kids that are sick and dying, you can't stop. We can't let them get by with it. And these jerks need to be voted out.
All right, thank you so much, Vina. Okay, so Chip